Welcome back. While the holidays are all about gathering with loved ones and eating delicious food, we know it can also be difficult at times for some people, and even more so if you're struggling with an eating disorder. Oftentimes it's hard to escape it, right? You've got food in front of you, you've got all the people around you, maybe you've got unnecessary comments. So to help cope with these difficulties, we're turning to the experts. We've got Dr. Daria Alvarez from The Meadows, and we've also got a patient in recovery. Daria Alvarez joins us this morning. So good morning to you, Daria. We appreciate you being here.
My
and good
pleasure.
morning to you, Daria, as well. Daria, we're going to start off with you. Tell us a little bit about your journey, if you don't mind, and how you've been able to recover from an eating disorder.
Okay. It was about 2 years ago. I was getting really sick. The eating disorder had taken over. I was emotionally unstable. I was losing weight quick and had physical implications. And found the Meadows, and that was the best decision I made, is through healing at the Meadows Ranch.
Can you talk a little bit about the holidays and how that could be especially hard when you are battling and going through an eating disorder?
The holidays are really triggering, really rough. You know, there's family that can be critical, begging you to eat or mentioning your body. There's, you know, the food coming at you from every direction, of course. So it's really rough. And to get through that, we use our coping mechanisms that we've learned along the way, the Meadows, and afterwards, aftercare.
What are some of the things that you would, if somebody's watching and they're saying, you know what, I'm in that position right now, what piece of advice do you have for them as they're gearing up to seeing a lot of loved ones and being around a lot of food and maybe a lot of unwanted comments over the next couple of days?
I would certainly have a plan to take some time alone, maybe outside, take a short walk, get fresh air. Set some boundaries and tell your family and friends that you're struggling and don't want any extra comments or critiques.
Yeah. No, that definitely is some good advice. Daria, we appreciate you being with us this morning and zooming in. We do want to talk to Dr. Daria Alvarez. You are the expert here. This is hard, right?
Yes,
it's hard for a lot of people because, you know, sometimes you're like, okay, I'm not going to eat. And then, you know, during the day, and then you pig out and you feel horrible and you're body shaming yourself. So what do you want people to know about the holidays and food, especially if you do have an eating disorder?
Great question, Kylie. One of the things I like to tell people is don't be caught off guard, which is impossible. Being caught off guard by definition means caught off guard. So rather, I like to reframe it. Be prepared when caught off guard. Have a script in mind. When you walk into that room and the first thing they do is hand you a drink or hand you a donut or hand you something to eat, be prepared for that moment. Have a script in mind to where you can say, you know what, I think right now I'm just going to have some water. Or for the moment, I'm not really ready to eat. But be prepared for those moments so that when you are caught off guard, you have a response.
Do you tell people that you have an eating disorder, or what if you don't want to disclose that information to others?
That's entirely up to the individual. Many people are very open about their recovery and very forthcoming about it. Others want to keep that very much to themselves, and either of those is fine. Whatever works for the individual, whatever really protects their recovery, that's what matters.
I know on the screen we've got some details here. You talked about planning ahead. You talked about setting boundaries. What else do you want to mention, as we've got about 30 seconds left, when it comes to strategies for coping and support?
Of course, I'm going to say have a therapist. Naturally, have a therapist and be working with someone who is certified in eating disorder therapy and can give you the guidance, give you the support that you need, and plug into community. Behavioral health issues thrive in isolation, but they heal in community. So be part of a recovery community with like-minded individuals who can share their experience, their strength, their hope, their ideas, so that, once again, you're ready going into those moments of temptation.
I think a lot of us whether maybe you're struggling with an eating disorder or not. Maybe you get an unwelcomed comment from mom, from aunt, oh, you look thin, or oh, you've put on a little bit of weight. What do you say in that situation?
Boy, that's a tough one. And again, it's going to depend on that individual, and I'm going to default back to that's why you need to be working with a therapist, so that you are ready in those moments and sometimes the response is, thank you, and nothing more. We often say no is a complete sentence. Sometimes thank you is all that needs to be said as well.
Okay. Good advice, Dr. Jerry Law. We appreciate it from the Meadows, talking through something that a lot of people are going with right now. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.